Well, time to get after this. These crustified clamps, which I don't know why I'm going to say, but believe it or not, I'm actually going to probably, if they don't all snap, I'm going to acid dip them and repurpose them. Which reminds me, I have something in acid dip I need to do something with before I have to repurpose what's left. Oh! That's okay, I'm used to this. Nobody's died in 50 years, so what we're doing here is we're going to heat these nuts up, burn all the rust off, and get stuff really roasty toasty, and if it breaks, it breaks. If it don't, we'll just, it's got to get out there. The goal is to get this ugly pipe off, and we'll start with that and see what happens. Probably won't keep you tuned in here for the whole fucking ugly thing. Pardon my language. Did I swear again? Damn it. Ah, funny how that works. Whew. Hot tamales. Yeah. I don't mess around with them little torches, by the way. It's just a waste of frickin' time. It does not heat things up near hot enough, and it just don't get stuff done. And I ain't got time to fart around. Good, square again? Well, let's see. We're 2 for 2. Yeah, but this just, I gotta, everything has to go fast. And that was working really good for a minute. So that turned. Stop it. I'd grab it, but it's really freaking hot. Alright. I think I don't have to try to hold the camera too. That would suck. Well, that's what they call them welding gloves, I guess. Well, that was super easy, but super stupid. Alright, so, one clamp down. Just pop that dude up there. Hey, it's almost like I've done this before. Alright, I'm going to put this toasty stuff off to the side. And I'm not, there's a nut here on the floor. Now I got welding gloves on, I can afford to touch things and save my skin. Now, it looks to me like what I done did back in the day was cut a piece, put it on this piece, and then took this part and slid it over the top. So this must have been what I did back in the day to make stuff fit. And that would have been, oh my God, really long time ago. Well, I've had the Roadrunner since '79, so yeah, there's that. So I'm not going to take you through doing both of these. You pretty much get the idea after I do one where I was headed with all this. If it rolls towards me, it's a lot easier to control. And hopefully this isn't too awful long, because I hate editing. In the last video, I fought tooth and nail to get enough room in my camera or my phone to do that. So you're probably going to see some old vintage stuff that was filmed sometime popping up soon. That's off. See how nice and easy that works with a little bit of warmth? Doesn't even really hardly phase and stuff. Don't break nothing. that was so easy, why wouldn't it just stay put? Look at that. Okay, crusty things. Now, the next step, because we don't care about this, we're just going to take and put a slit here and a slit on the other side with the torch. And when you do that, you just kind of shoot along this way, parallel on the pipe, and the pipe underneath it doesn't get destroyed. As you can see, this is really badly rusted out here, and I think you can see that. Hopefully you can see that. Can you see that? You can see that. Yes. See? Ugliness. So, I'm going to be cutting this all off, this whole inlet here, and I'm going to be adapting this pipe. One end to the other is going to go inside this slightly. So I'll cut it big enough where that pipe slides inside it and then weld all the way around it after this thing gets cleaned up, because I can't work with this. So one more little thing we're going to do here quick, and then we're going to go there. Hey, fun fact! I just found out from Tom at Rocket Restoration, Tom Herdertz at Rocket Restorations, that Sport Furies, some Sport Furies, and GT, I believe it's called GT23. Yeah, God, I hope I don't screw that up. But they had these exhaust tips on too. So not only did the Dodge Challenger 1970 have these tips, but also that the Sport Fury did too. So, especially if it had a 6-pack or something like that. Might want to go to Tom's channel, by the way. He's doing an amazing video on a, oh, that's warm, 6-pack car. So you probably want to go check that out. And somehow that got really warm, probably because there was a hot part laying on it. Might have had something to do with it. So you can light this stupid thing with this glove on. And maybe. Nope. Lord. I'm going to cool off from. Good. That's one. There you go. So we're going to just make some incisions here right along this pipe. We're just going to wash that metal back so we get a hole. Hey, just like that. So we're going to play the flip side. Done enough. So sometimes you got to heat these up too, because they get really crushed on that other pipe. I guess you'd cut a half a dozen incisions, I suppose, and do that. But this is pretty simple. We'll just warm them up a little bit. Make sure you're too slow. Let's warm stuff up. That would have done it. Oh, needed to warm it up good enough. Okay. So, that's how this is going to go. Oh, look at that crustified fool. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, that's pretty good. Wow, that is really gone. Okay, next step, same thing. We're going to heat this up, put a slit in it, probably slit it 2 times. Well, actually, I'll probably just slit it all the way off the end here and peel it off there. Like, yeah. Pretty rough. And somehow or another, I heated this god-blessed thing up again. Wow, that's warm. obviously got to be really careful because that other pipe is pretty bad shape, but it's going to get removed anyway, so it doesn't really matter. That's just pretty rustic. Okay, so we're going to bang on this a little bit, carefully. Doing some peeling. Ow! Warm. Damn, welding gloves smell like a burning dog. Cat fur or something. And it's removed. See, I want to show you this now that we got this tip removed. You can see it's in really bad shape. But I'll sandblast this up and see what I got to work with to start with. And I guarantee this piece here will be removed. This is going to get cut. This pipe will be adapted into it. And I believe it's the same, identical size. So, in theory, if I was smart, I probably could clean this up, remove this inner piece, and slide this fella right inside there. Bada bing, bada boom, and weld around. Be done. So, these are really old and they're really not in great shape, but they will clean up pretty good. Good enough for what I'm doing here. But that's stage one of this. So, hope you enjoyed that. Here we go again. More fun stuff. So, just for science, I've decided to take one of these tips and just dip the back half before the chrome in the acid just to see what it would do. And so this is how horribly bad this really is. And both are, terrible. So, you get to see what happens tomorrow when I pull it out of the acid. I'm going to go home and call it a day. Just to give you, for instance, I don't know if you guys caught that rusty, horribly rusted license plate frame, but that's what it looks like when she comes out of the acid, like brand spanking new. I don't know what the lines are all about, but something to do with the way the metal was formed. Just is what it is. And the back that was so horribly rusted, I mean the spring and all that was terrible inside there, and that's all super clean, and that was just an afternoon in the bath. A nice warm bath. Nice warm baths are wonderful things, I think I found my gas leak when I punch it. Obviously this is gross and gamey and nasty, and that needs a little time in a parts washer to get the lumpy gravy off there, but it's fine. No, I'm not going to acid dip that because that's like got some kind of a coating on it. But I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to be like that. In a little panic situation because I wanted to drive my car and why I wanted to do exhaust work, and I refused to do that sort of thing with a live flame and some welding and grinding and stuff when you've got fumes coming out. So, yeah, that's Thursday, Amazon. Well, what do you do? Damn it. So, the exhaust tips have been in the dippity-doo dip for, I don't know, about 12 hours. So we're going to pull them out, check them out, and see how they're doing. And they may be done, because this stuff works pretty fast. Huh. Well, not completely done, but oh my God, look at that. There's some of it that's pretty bad, but that's being removed anyway, so we can see that. And it really didn't affect the chrome, where it got on the chrome at all. So I'm quite impressed with that. Oops, I just lost my hooking area. There we go. Probably just going to leave it sitting there for the rest of the day. If I can figure out how I hook this stupid thing. Again. Well, that sucks. There we go. Probably going to just put it back and for today and let it sit. As you can see, that's pretty nasty yet, but like I said, that's going to get removed anyway, so I really don't think I need to go any further. It's looks pretty damn good to me for what I want it to, for what I want to do to it. So just because I got other things to do, like I said, I'm probably just gonna put this back in here and forget about it for now. Hopefully I don't screw this up. There we go. That goes there, this goes here, and this hooks through here, and it sits like that. Okay, let's look at the other one. As long as we're looking at stuff. Yeah. So about the same. It's got some more, needs some more time, because this black pitting and stuff like that, that will all go away. I guess I could blast what's left, but sandblasting tends to destroy things really, really bad. And that's why I didn't really want to sandblast these, because I didn't want them to get, and of course acid will too, it'll eat away the rust. So, but I didn't want to get too crazy. Oh well, I'm going to have some really clean spots on my floor. Oops, this is going to get hooked like this. So I'm going to put these back and forget about them for a while. And let them sit. And this is ready to go get washed. It's super, super clean, but there's some smut here I want to get rid of. So that'll just wash off, and then I'll put some paint on it. I could just probably leave it the way it is too, for that matter. It would be fine, because there is a coating on this from the factory, and so I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Part of me says paint it, part of me says leave it alone. So yeah, I'm on the fence. Hopefully you got to see that too. Yeah, there you go. But that was completely, utterly covered both sides in rust, and the spring, all the spring apparatus inside here was completely rusted. So yeah, rust was falling out of it when I was moving the spring, and now it's super clean. So also as an experiment, another science experiment, remember I torched off those old deals? Well, there you go. That is a rusty hose clamp, or muffler clamp. Now let's see if I can get you a comparison here. I'm quite positive I have another one handy. No, that's the wrong one. What the heck? These are the pieces to the puzzle. Wow, these will hardly even fit together. They're so crustified. Okay, so here is old and crusty that I took off yesterday with the torch. And here is refurbished. And you can see it looks, I don't know, pretty good. It's kind of black yet. And that will actually turn white just like it was eventually, maybe after another day. But so you can redo these. It's not that big a deal. You can save a lot of parts that would just cost you a little bit of money here and there, and so that's part of the whole restoration game, you know. Take it apart, restore it, and reuse it. So back in the soup she goes. All right, that's all I wanted to show you for today. On that, I've got to get back on the rest of the car stuff. Well, we're going to start this little segment off here. We're going to, as an add-on thing, because when I showed you this plate bracket, it showed this spring and to be all in proper shape and all springy and normal, which it is now, but that was after it come out of the acid dip. Well, guess what? It sat for a little bit, and you might notice that there is welds here and here. And welding springs is a pain in the ass. Don't try this at home. But I managed to, actually, what the real big problem is taking this apart and putting it back together. Oh my God, there's an hour of my life I'll never get back. Make that damn near 2 hours, and so many swear words and bad things. Now I'm on the fence here because this never had any kind of paint on it from the factory. This is just how it looked. Okay, they didn't care about these parts, so I've been on the fence whether I was going to shoot some paint on it or leave it alone. And I think I'm just going to leave it alone, but I am going to I'm going to put some gray primer on this to protect this piece of metal, because this is of a different material. This has a coating on it, which is, I believe they call it galvanneal coating, so that it wouldn't rust. But now I have these welded back together, and it took several tries, and it's ugly, and I don't care. It functions, because I don't have another one, and they don't sell that spring. They sell stuff for kudas, and that's it. Now, I'm going to move right along here. As you can remember, this thing was gamey and nasty and ew. So that all got scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed and cleaned up. And this is the bolt to put that together with. And I showed you the defunct fuel leaking part. And thanks to the miracle of Amazon, guess what? I have a new one. But the weird thing is, its physically diameter is a little bit bigger, and I don't think that's really going to bother as long as that groove is pretty close. So we're going to be putting this on and putting this back in because I have exhaust work to do, and for some reason a rag shoved in a fuel tank and welding next to it seems like a really large Molotov cocktail. I also bought an extra one just to have one because I have the small one in stock, but I don't have the big one. The small one's for like 64, 65 darts and kudas and things like that, and everything else, pretty much A and B body takes this. I actually contacted Tom at Rocket Restorations to get the general lowdown on everything, and once again, he educated me on parts and what fits what. So the other thing is too, I learned is one of these was really bad, and I think it's I don't know where it is. That one? No, this one? Yeah, this one. This one has one of the ears snapped off, and when I removed it because it was crispy. And the aftermarket ones you get today are not as thick, so if you would have to replace two, and I only had one of these, so we just made do with the old stuff. So this is going to go back in. This part will go back in. The plate will go back on after I get this installed. And I've got a trick for this too, by the way. You take and fill this groove with a bunch of grease and get it slimy and slippery, and one half of this thing slimy and slippery, so you can work it in there fairly easily, and you can turn it to make sure it seats good. You use wheel bearing grease. I can use, well, you can use Vaseline too if you got that handy. Just anything really slippery, okay? Not fucking WD-40. That shit's junk, and it will eat this shit up. I have no kind words for WD-40. It's not allowed in my shop. Hasn't been allowed in my shop in over 20 years because of the components that are in it are terrible. Yeah, use it on your sewing machine or whatever, your screen door, but that'll wash off in the first time it rains. You know, buy good stuff. Don't buy junk. That's been the biggest con, I swear to God. WD-40's been the biggest con that ever has hit the automotive industry, I swear to God. When I had a chemist break that stuff down, well, I'm going to get to that whole thing later. I'm not going to babble about it now. We're at 5 minutes worth of babbling. So I got stuff to put together. So we're going to get after it. because we got some other things we got to do. Oopsie. I forgot about this stuff. I hope to God it's not trashed. So 36 hours later, whoops. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, it's better. So out of the stuff it's got to come, and then we're going to clean up this chrome. I take that stuff home and steel wool it, SOS pad thing, and go from there. That did not improve very much in 36 hours. But it's going to get removed and replaced anyway because it's cooked, as you can see. Holes. Can you see the holes? Yeah, there's holes. Lots of holes. So we're going to take this out, let this stuff dry somewhere handy, and then we're going to well, we'll check on the the clamps that I put in there too, just for giggles. I gotta run over here and put this over here. Yeah, I totally forgot about this stuff, but see, here's the thing. I really didn't want to sandblast this stuff because it's just I hate sandblasting, and this stuff it did a great job. You know how bad these things were. You guys saw them earlier on. They were cooked. So we're gonna just take these out of the goo, as they say, and maybe we can hang one on top of the other. No, we cannot. Okay. So we're gonna just let that be. Now, I wonder what the clamps look like. Wow. You gotta let this stuff drain off. By the way, if you spill this on your floor, you got the cleanest floor in the world. Now, there's still some sludge in there, but if the guy took these and washed them, you know, and just water, they'd be good enough to be reused again, and you could repurpose them. So I do a lot of this. I repurpose a ton of bolts. Some stuff, you know, you just want to replace. If it's an internal engine bolt, I throw it away and replace it, obviously, but this just, you know, you can clean these up and they work fine. I'll probably just leave them in here for another day or so. Let's see what these look like. Yeah, they're going to be pitted and they're going to be kind of ugly, but you know, they're black right now, but that washes off and they should clean up pretty well, so you can get some light on. Yeah, see, that looks like fresh metal. So that's the product I use. Yeah, that does a really great job. And if you don't have connections in the automotive industry like I do for running a big powder coating facility for countless years, you can't buy that stuff. So, and it works way better than that garbage, the Evapo crust. I'm not a fan of that. Never. Well, that stuff is okay for the shade tree guy that's got all the time in the world, but this stuff will take things from as bad as the inside of this, and in 2 hours that'll come out of there and that would be gone. I could actually soak these in the chrome, I think, and deep six them and have that be super clean and it won't hurt the chrome. But I'm not going to chance it. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. That's going to be all black from exhaust pretty quick anyway once you run the thing for a while. Plus I'm going to have to get in here with a you see this chrome flaking off here. I'm going to have to get in there with something. Maybe I'll get a wild hair and soak them for an hour or something, because if I soak these for an hour, that's going to be completely clean and bare metal again. So easy peasy. So I just wanted to show these off after the acid dip, and even with the chrome and all that stuff, and they cleaned up remarkably well on the inside too. Got rid of all the rust inside there. I dipped them for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, maybe a little longer. No, the bluish gold tinge here, that is that's an iron phosphate coating that's left behind from the other chemicals that are in with the acid. So when I pull it out, I can rinse it off and it won't flash rust. Sometimes they do flash rust. You just dip them again quick and then dry them off and they're fine. Then you can just paint them. because you're using a non-molybdate coating, which is a non-metallic iron phosphate coating. Okay, that allows the paint to get adhesion. And on a nondescript part like this, you can see this one here has got just a little bit more of a goldish tinge to it. That is ideal. Blue and gold tinge, perfect. So these actually came out pretty well here. I know this is in my kitchen, but these are heading back to the shop. And I was quite surprised that they turned out this good. But they get new ends put in them. And there's a bunch of crap there that I don't know what that is, but the acid didn't even phase it. It's obviously decayed metal and fossilized metal. I don't know. It's some weird stuff because the rest of it turned out fine. Doesn't matter. It's getting removed. So there's going to be a new pipe put on here, and it's going to be, I don't know, about a foot long. And that's going to be the new pipe that's going to go on the back of the Fury. Instead of this short dude. We're not going to do that. So, yeah. So I'm pretty happy with how these turned out. So I just thought I'd throw it in here. And next stage is go to primer and some satin black paint. So we're going to step away from the muffler or tailpipe parts, and we're going to step away from exhaust tips. Geez, I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. To go into this, because I want to get rid of the rag in the fuel tank, melt off cocktail thing, which I will go show you in a minute. But I wanted to show you this that I lightly greased this so it'll slide in. Now I'm going to probably tell you twice that yes, you can push this thing all the way in there. It has happened, and that is because it'll catch this if you don't grease this, so it slides in there real easy. Like, you can push this brand new soft rubber right into the tank, and then you're going to have a really bad day with a coat hanger and a fishing expedition, and don't ask me how I know. Best putting them in when they're in the car is a pain in the butt. When the fuel tank's out, best time to change it. So if you put a new fuel tank in, put a new rubber grommet in the tank. Just don't trust the old stuff, because they're always dried out and they're hard, they're cracked, or they will fail when you take this out and put it back in. And I'm going to have you note that how gamey that was and how clean it is now. And no, I did not acid dip it or look like a brand new piece. And so just see no point to it. So anyway, I'm going to get after this. So just run over here real quick. Yeah, what pays the bills? Like mail trucks, like Jamie says. Okay, so this has been in the fuel tank, and I just popped it out of there a second ago, but that's the orifice that we're going to be putting this in, and then it bolts up to that little cool dude right there. So we're going to make short work of this. So I'll be back in a minute when I get that project fixed, and you can see what it's done. Now that that's completed and all bolted back in like it's supposed to, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's the rubber grommet. No, I can't see it. Well, if we go this way, and light in there somehow. There it is. Now you can see it's kind of in at an angle, but it shouldn't be a problem. I don't know. I can't really get a good shot at it for some bizarre reason. There's a good shot. Okay. It's in there nice and flat and straight. This is so frustrating, trying to do this with the camera. Anyway, so that's done. Now, next step, as soon as I find wherever I left my steel wall this time, is I'm going to clean up this area in the bumper a little bit real quick. And I found some rubber grommets that were missing. I found them in an old Charger bumper. So I pulled those out. They're not in very good shape, but they're going to get the job done for now, because I believe these were supposed to be longer in this particular car, but it's what I had. Now I'm going to take steel wool, clean up behind the license plate bracket, and install the license plate bracket. So now that the plate's all installed and everything's working as it should, rubber stoppers, all that sort of stuff, back where they belong, and everything's good to go there. Next step is take our tips and figure out our orientation, right, left, what have you. And I've decided that this is going to look about as good as it's going to look. Now this should sit up, well, can't do it. Kind of, you get the, well, in further. Can't really put these where I want them to sit, but they're going to sit something like that. Only further over to my left. So, just out, just a little bit past the bumper, about an inch below the bumper. That's my goal. Possibly up, now, this pipe is really where it needs to be, but it's getting cut off, and there'll be some fitting going on there, and maybe some tweaking and bending and what have you of the pipes and my pipe bender, but kind of hard to do when it's in the car. But this should give you an idea anyway. Actually, I believe that one is off. This one's screwed up. The whole pipe's screwed up. It's where you'd run a single exhaust, not duals. So I believe that this is the way this is going to be. I got to decide if I'm going to have it kick more this way or towards the plate. And I thought more towards the outside of the car, kind of centered between the signal light and the bumper, rubber baby buggy bumper there, would be the hot tip of the day. So something to this effect, I guess, if we can get there. This is really hard to do in a camera, holding it, but you get the idea. Now, I did figure out what the hell that stuff was. Talk to you about that in a minute. All right, we're back at the makeshift bench, and I've taken the liberty of marking left and right and how I'm going to do it. I switched them back and forth until I was blue in the face, and yeah, and this one lined up the best, kicking the other one towards the inside versus the outside due to the exhaust runs right on top of the frame rail. It would look better if you switched it around the other way. It'd look better if the exhaust ran next to the fuel tank, but it doesn't on this particular car. I also took some satin black and painted the insides here so it would curb the rust and crust. And really, this video has turned into save the tips. I can't speak more loudly about it. They're cooked. I mean, you saw what they look like to begin with and what they look like today, and they're nice. Now, I said I was going to explain what this was, and it finally dawned on me. I was sitting at home having a coffee, and I remember that there was a stuff called muffler, it's like a muffler adhesive, so it would stop exhaust leaks, and it came like in a squishy tube like gasket cement, and I don't even know if the crap's on the market anymore, but I sealed these things had leaks, not that bad, but they leaked, so I smeared this whole thing with that muffler crap, because I already had something sliding over the top of this, and it was a real cobble job. But that was in 1980 when I put this garbage on there. Now, the next step, which will be done off camera, is we're going to take and find the spot welds. And there's one, and there's one. And we're going to take and drill out spot welds, mark them, and we're going to drill out spot welds. And you can see all those in there. All right, same for this guy, same deal. Spot welds go bye-bye. And then we're going to remove this piece, and we're going to see how the other pipe fits into what's left. Now, it's going to go in a lot deeper, so this is probably going to get cut back. But all these things have to be fitted together with the exhaust, and the exhaust on the car sucks. How it was routed and how they bent this and that and rebent it to make stuff work, and it was still way off. So I'm going to have to, that's just going to have to be another video because it's so involved. As a matter of fact, I started out to do something completely different before this turned into the restoration of exhaust tips. But as you can see from what I started with, which was crap, to what I have today, which is nice stuff. Now, the last thing I'm going to mention is these pipes here are obviously way too long. So when I figure out where these things are all going to sit together, this pipe will fit inside of here, slide inside of here, and this extension will be welded on however long it needs to be. Probably something to that effect. Just depends on how the pipes shake out and everything else under the car. So it'd be a bunch of waste, but oh well. So that's just how this is going to all have to be. I might even go buy some shorter ones, but God knows we got plenty of leftover exhaust stuff. But just wanted to show you what's going on here. I wanted to wrap this video up because we need to move on. I'm going to be stepping away from this to do something entirely different here with this car before we get back to the exhaust, because there's one more thing I need to do or want to do before we get there. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you need stuff acid dipped and you're in Minnesota or Wisconsin or Iowa close by, I would be more than happy to do it for you. I don't do car chassis yet. I might get into that. I don't know. That's a rather large chemical capital investment. But these really turned out nice. Oh, I did dip. They all went deep into the acid too. I think I said that earlier in the video. There's just so much about this stupid video. These look fairly good, satined out, and they're going to get soot, exhaust soot on them too. So it's just a little preventative to keep them, to hold them so they don't rust. Yeah, so like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.